Hi guys, it's Beth and welcome. Today is the monthly project share for the Smash Our Stash collaboration. This is a collaboration that I have co-hosted with Teresa from Fresh and Renew with Teresa, and it is about using up your stash. So most months we have a prompt or a theme, and this month was buttons. And the themes were kind of around things that might be in your stash that you don't think to use very often, or maybe things that are easily hoarded, like buttons. And there is no way that I would be able to smash my stash of buttons, as you can see here. But I did pull out buttons and have some fun with them. And I have a few different ways that I wanted to share with you how I used them. I have made some of these in the past, but it's been a while. But I have a lot of buttons that have I should have brought over an example. They have like a hole on the back, so it's got a raised portion, and almost like you could thread it onto a pillow or something, and the button sticks up. It doesn't have the holes in the top like these that you can sew it on, going up and down through the button. It just had a slot on the back that you could slide something through. I have a hard time using those on any paper craft projects just because they're bulky, and while you can break off the backs of it on some of them, you can't do it on all of them. So what I have found I like to use these on is I can take the hole and push it through the flower, and then I can slide it onto a paper clip, and then it becomes like a page marker, or you can use it in a journal. I made mine for my Etsy orders. Whenever I ship them off, I have a business card, the order information, as well as a thank you note, and sometimes there's some other small pieces of paper that I'm including depending on what the order is for. And I like to use something to kind of hold all the paperwork together. So I decided that these would be great for that and kind of help me use up my stash. I have a plentiful stash of flowers, which is funny because flowers were last month's theme for Smash Our Stash, so I ended up using a whole bunch of flowers this month too. But I have a bunch of flowers, I have a bunch of buttons that have those holes on the back that I rarely use, and then paper clips are pretty cheap. So I decided I need to do more of these for that purpose, so I did. I have about 18 here where I used various buttons that had those I don't know why, I can't think of what to call those this morning, and then I just used various flowers and various paper clips depending on what I had. So that was one thing I did, and used I didn't finish off any button containers, but I did finish off 2 small flower containers that just had a few left in it. So that was good. Continuation of last month, apparently. So the other thing I did, since I had the flowers out, I decided to make some layered flowers using the buttons as the center, and purple flowers were what I had out. So that's kind of what I played with. I just kind of continued on with those. And then was trying to figure out how else to use the buttons, and this is kind of a bad example and I didn't get a chance to finish it, but this could be like a Christmas tag, and these would be ornaments, and then you could stamp Merry Christmas or something down here and decorate it up a little bit more, maybe add draw in a bow or whatever. But this is just to kind of show how you can incorporate buttons. You could do this on a scrapbook page, you could do this on a card. I have done this on a card before, and then this was just on a smaller scale on a tag. So then I made some scrapbook pages and incorporated buttons, and in some cases flowers on them as well. So on this particular page, it was pink and green, it was my theme, and so I had used some of these big green flowers and then pulled in some buttons to use as the centers. So similar to what I did here, but instead of making them up in advance, these were ones I made as I put the page together. And same with this one, I just pulled in some flowers that coordinated with the papers that I was using and use the buttons as the centers. So I also have some Halloween buttons, and some of them are flat. Like this particular one is a wooden button and it's flat, and you can see the holes like right there above his nose. But then I also have some plastic or resin ones that had that little hook on the back. And so this one, there's a couple of them where I broke it off as best I could, but I couldn't get it flat. So this is a Halloween layout, and just decided to use up some of the Halloween buttons that I had. And so just pulled in 2 jack-o'-lantern buttons on this layout. On this one, this little Halloween word was included in the buttons, but it didn't have like a notch on the back. So I'm assuming you could still thread it on somehow if you wanted. So since it was in the pack of buttons, I counted it as a button, but I just used it as an embellishment for my title on that page. Here again, I just pulled in, I had another set of the dark orange jack-o'-lantern and then the wooden one. And then on this last page this is more of like a ceramic button. And so the holes are like in the eyes, which is kind of funny. So I just added that one on as an embellishment. And a few months ago, when we were playing with ribbon, I pulled this out just to show you, to remind you another way to use buttons. When we were playing with ribbon, I made a bunch of what's called messy bows. And you just take strips of ribbon and you kind of tie it together with a string or some twine. And then you can do anything you want on the top. You can just make a loop of ribbon over it to finish it off, but in a lot of cases I used buttons to act as the center of the bow. So that was another way that I've used buttons recently. So, oh, here's one with one of those Halloween buttons. So anyway, just hopefully you guys got some ideas on how to use some of the buttons that might be lingering in your stash. And there are a lot of other participants in this collaboration that are using buttons this month. So please be sure to check out the list of participants in the description box below, and hopefully you can get some more ideas on how to use buttons. I know I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody else is doing with their buttons this month. And the next 2 months of this collaboration are free choice. So that is exciting. Everybody gets to choose what they want to focus on for the next 2 months on using up out of their stash. So stay tuned for that to see what everybody is using. Thank you guys so very much for your time today, and hope you're all having a very crafty day.